Well, welcome everybody. This is a little presentation on how to use Google to get organized in your homeschooling life. So this is a little bit about me. I've been with South Sutter since the very beginning when we opened doors, the virtual doors, I guess. We don't have physical doors, but that was about 15 years ago. And my credential, I've been an advisor, which kind of like the supervisors for the ESs for about 13 years. And I am a Google certified educator, so took a test and got certified. These are beautiful kiddos, and we homeschool all of them through South Sutter. Even the littlest, who's going to join in February. So that's just a little about me. These are just some things that I like to remind people about when you're doing or exploring technology. Don't be afraid of it. It's really, a lot of technology is really intuitive and easy. You won't be able to break it. I like to talk about not digitizing the dinosaur, which means usually if you have something that you've been using for a long time, chances are there's maybe something that's already out there digitally, or maybe something better. So if you have that old mimeographed photocopy from about 30 years ago, chances are someone's already put it up online in a better form. So also, technology should save us time and improve our learning environment. If it doesn't save you time, if you spend way more time trying to figure it out, then it's not worth it. Move on, find something that you like and that works for you. And that saves you time and improves how you do stuff. And technology is never going to replace what we do as educators. It's only going to free us up to do bigger and better things. So, for example, when calculators came along, people were afraid that they were going to replace take the place of math teachers. But no, it just allowed us to do more complex problems without having to get stuck in the mire of doing easy computations, right? So technology doesn't replace us, it just frees us to do bigger and better things. And I always like to say that we really need to encourage a culture where everything is openly shared. So chances are you have some amazing stuff that you have made or collected or curated over the years. So be open to sharing it with people. Let's save each other time and help each other do better and free other people up. And then don't be afraid to take risks. So it's okay to fail forward. I like to say that to my kids and to the teachers that I train. So don't be afraid of technology. It's really fun. Now I'm going to grab this link and I'm going to put it in the chat box. And hang on here. This is just a survey to see where you all spend most of your time homeschooling. So hopefully if you see the chat box, you can click on that link and take that quick survey. And then we'll take a look at the results of that. And while you're filling that out, I just think it's so cool that in Google Slides, Google Slides is one of the apps that you can use. It's like PowerPoint. but when you're on Google Slides, you can embed videos in it. So I just wanted to kind of show that off a little bit while you take a minute to fill out these slides. Google Slides is a great way for your kids to do presentations. They could do a presentation just like this where they can embed videos and anything that they would do with PowerPoint. So does everyone have that link and filling that out? All right, I'm going to stop this and I'm going to go to the next slide. What you just filled out was a Google form, and let's see if anyone filled it out. Okay, a couple of you did. Maybe a couple more are still working on it. So do you see how this is automatically populating as people are filling it out? This is one of the coolest things for Google is these forms. And it looks like two of you, planning and pacing and assigning is kind of the biggest time suck. And Google Forms, you'd like to learn more about Google Forms. Some of you don't even know where to start. So what you just filled out was a cool Google form, and I'll get into that and show you how to use that. And what Google does with it is it compiles all of the answers in a nice spreadsheet like this. So there's lots of applications that you can use for this. You can use it for like RSVPs to parties. You can use it to, your kids can maybe record the weather and, you know, every day they can log in and record what the weather is and the temperature, or the rain when we get it, things like that. There's lots you can do with Google Forms. So back to the presentation though. It's good to see that, let's see. So most of you, while searching for curriculum ideas, and we have 2 history lovers, an English and a science lover. Great, awesome. So what you need first, if you don't have one already, is a Gmail account. When you get a Gmail account, that gives you access to all of the amazing Google apps. You get access to Google Drive, you get access to Calendar, to Mail, YouTube, Google News, and there's tons of apps, and I'm only going to go into the most basic kinds in this presentation. But in the future, I plan to take each one of these and kind of show you what you can do with that app. So if you don't have a Google account already, I strongly suggest you get one. And it's really easy. You can just go to Google and then Google, how do I get a Gmail account? And you should, some sort of screen like this will come up and you just sign up. Now, I just want to show you real quick. These are all my Google accounts right here. I have, I don't know, probably about 30 Google accounts. I have my work one, I have my personal one, and then I have a bunch of other ones. So, and what I did is I created a homeschool Google account. So I suggest that would be a good thing for you guys to do, and I'll show you how I have mine set up. But ours is Andersonia Academy Homeschool at gmail.com. And in that account, I have all of our homeschool stuff. All of the work that my kids do, any curriculum things I find, and I'll share with you how I organize that. But the first thing you need to do is get a Google account. So if you haven't already, do that. Okay, whose desk looks like this right now? Mine's pretty neat right now, but next week, most likely it will look like this with all of our kids doing school, since school starts Monday. It's really hard for me to keep track of all of the kids' assignments and what they've done and what's due and where they're supposed to be, that pacing out of stuff. So these are a couple of tools that I use. The first tool that's really cool in Google is Google Docs. Google Docs is like Microsoft Word. It's a word processing program, but it's all in the cloud. And this is an example of my daughter's English paper from last year. And what's great about it is you can see here that you can give comments, you can make suggestions on how to fix what to fix in the document. And kids nowadays really like that instant feedback. And the students that I serve at South Sutter, they will email me and say that their paper is done. They've finished their draft, and I can go right on it and make comments right then and there, or maybe even while they're working on it. So I wanted to show you. Let me see. Let me grab this link. Whoops. Hang on a minute. I'm going to put in the chat box again this link. And when you click on it, we will all be able to work on a Google Doc together. And I'll show you how it works. So click on that link in the chat box. And when we click on it, it should open up a doc here. This is us from the other day. You should all be able to type right in this doc when you click on the link. So a couple things I wanted to show you in here. There's different modes that you can work on a paper. You can just do like a view only, which means you can't change anything in here. You can do make suggestions. For example, I'm going to suggest that this is capitalized. And then you see over here that the person whose document this is can accept it or reject it. Then you can also make comments on the docs too, like great job, or however you want. And then they can reply back in your comments. So this is a really cool way to work. And as you can see, we're all kind of typing in this doc together. Oh, let me get out of. You can see we can all work on this doc together, which is really cool. If you have a, one way that I've used this in like a class with some high schoolers is we all wrote a poem together. So we would all take a line and try and write a poem. We'd each write a line of poetry. So this is super cool, and I love Google Docs. And the best is it's free. You don't need to pay for it like you need to pay for Microsoft. Maybe you have, I know that I had a student last year who was taking college classes, and her professor only wanted Microsoft Word documents, not Google Docs. You can download these as a Word doc or a PDF. So that's another really cool thing about Google Docs. But there's even more cool things here. Watch this. Let me look back here what I wanted to show you guys. So we looked at peer editing. Revision history is really neat. Say you guys got on my doc and you messed up my paper, and I want to revert back to the paper before you guys got on it. There's a way that you can look at your version history. Over here, you can see there's a bunch of versions of this. So if I wanted to go back way before anyone even touched this document, I can restore this version. So kids, how you can use this is maybe you want to save this one that we're working on. Maybe I want to name this one first draft. So you can go back to it and see that, go back to that first draft. Maybe you want to name it something else, but you can always go back to different versions. One kind of good way also to see, I was working with she was then in 3rd grade. She was doing a little paper, and she had gone to Wikipedia and copied and pasted an entire paragraph. So what I did, I'm like, that looks really too good for her to have written that. So I looked at the version history, and one minute the page was blank, and the next minute was like a full paragraph. So I could kind of assume that she copied and pasted. So we had a good talk about what plagiarism is. But you might have some students that do want to use some language or, maybe cite some works. But this is really cool. There is a thing under Tools called Explore. And when you open up Explore, you can, this essentially just pulls up, it pulls up the web on your doc, if that makes sense. So say if I'm doing a project on Jacques Cousteau, it pulls it up right here. Some Wikipedia stuff. So maybe I want to insert some of this. You can, let's see, if I click on this, it brings up this web page. Say if I want to put this in my doc here. I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to paste it in. I can get rid of this stuff. But the cool thing is if I want to cite this, if I hover over this, do you see these little quotation marks? If I click on that, it puts a little footnote there, and then at the bottom of the page, it automatically cites it for me. So I don't know about you guys, but I wrote papers and had to cite stuff long before there was internet. So I wouldn't even know how to cite something from a web page. So this kind of teaches kids to learn to cite things. And I just noticed these little 3 dots, whenever you click on those, there's always some cool stuff in there. I just noticed you can change the formatting for that. I guess Chicago style or MLA style, so that's kind of neat. There's always something new to find. Someone asked in the chat box, how do you initiate peer editing again? Okay, that's a great question. When you want to have kids work on a doc together, this button up here, do you see share? When you click that, you can either share it directly with people, like I know Bridget's on here. Bridget. Well, it doesn't have your email saved. Okay, so this is my husband's email address. So you can share it with people, and you could add a note, and then it'll notify them when you share it. You can give them access to edit, or to just comment, or also just to view. So there's different options there. And how I have this doc set up, anyone with the link can edit it. I can change it so that anyone can view, anyone could comment. And you can also get more advanced and share here. You can change access. So go into the share And this is true for any Google Doc. You're able to share anything with anyone, either view access, editing access, or commenting access. So the other really cool thing that I like to point out in Google Docs is I have a 6-year-old who has a ton of things to say, but he is not really great on the computer or typing. So he gets really frustrated because it takes a really long time and he has a lot of things that he wants to say. So if you have someone, if you have a kid that's like that, or maybe just typing is really hard, there is another great feature in Google called voice typing. And when I click on this, you can see it's automatically typing my words. I'm not typing anything, period. And you could have it type for you. You can say whatever you want. It's really, really awesome. So that is a really cool feature. Now, granted, some of the grammar and spelling might not be right, but at least now they can go through and change the grammar, change the capitalization. So that is a cool feature, voice typing. You might have to allow Google to have your microphone access. Another great thing that I love is Translate. I can translate this into, let's see, I have a student who's Russian. I can translate it into Russian, and boom. Now, it's not perfect, but it sure does help. If I have an email or something that I want to send to a family that's whose language isn't English as a first language, this is a great tool that you can use. So, very cool. Those are just some cool things in Google Docs, this one little app. Okay? So we went through all of that. Now, let's see. And we did that. Okay. Again, more organization. My homeschool stuff is a mess. I have so many papers that I've saved. I have so much stuff, and I went on a couple years ago a giant crusade to rid myself of paper and all of my saved papers. It took a really long time, but I organized it all into my Google Drive. And this is a screenshot of my Google Drive. Let me show you what it looks like in real life. When you have access to Google Apps, you have what's called Google Drive. Drive is like a hard drive, except it's in the cloud. So no matter what computer I'm on, I can always, or like if I'm at the library, I can log into my Google account and I will have access to all of these things on that Google account from that computer where I'm at. So here is my homeschooling folder. I have a folder color-coded for each kid. And you can see I have a bunch of documents here. What I do, I get a scanner app on my phone. I have a Google phone, and the app that I use is called Simple Scanner. And you could just take pictures, but I use the scanner app because a lot of times the things I'm scanning have more than one pages, and it turns it into a PDF. But like Loretta gave me this, and how could I throw this away? It's like the cutest thing. It was all of us sitting at the table. This is all of our smiling faces sitting at the dining room table. And that's her name at the top. How could you throw that away? So I scanned it and I uploaded it into Loretta's folder. So then, it has the date of when she did it, or at least the date when I uploaded it. And then when no one's looking, I can take that paper and just kind of put it in the trash and not feel guilty about it. So like for my other kids, I might have their portfolio from a couple of years ago. Right, here's her math, an upload from her math program that she was using. Here's her little thing she did for drama. So you can keep all your kids' stuff in folders in your drive. How do you upload them? Maybe you have a bunch of stuff on your hard drive in your computer. Maybe you have that. So for example, maybe I want to upload this document. This is a PDF document, and maybe I want to upload it into this folder. Maybe you have a bunch of curriculum stuff that you've created or something. You can grab it, just click and drag, and it automatically will upload it into your Google Drive. And so I have really got nothing saved on my hard drive. Everything really that I use is in Google Drive. Bridget asks, do I use Google Drive for all your files? Yes, I'm really trying to. I'm really, like, even like my receipts for like business stuff, I keep it all in there. How much can be stored in it for free? That's a great question. Do you see right here? 2.1 gigabytes of 15 gigabytes used. So you have 15 gigabytes for every Google account that you have. If you're uploading like files that are like PDF or maybe a Word doc, it does take up space, but any Google Docs, like this one that we were just working on, it doesn't take up any space. So you can have an infinite number of Google Docs or presentations and it won't take up any space. The only things that take up space are like PDFs and other kinds of files, movies. So what I do personally, you can pay for extra storage. You can upgrade. I think I've upgraded to maybe 200 gigabytes, which is $3 a month. But that's because I just have so much stuff. Or you can just keep opening Google accounts and have a ton of Google stuff. So your Google Drive is great. And when you want to create something, if you go to New, you can create a new folder, you can upload a file, you can upload an entire folder of stuff, and then here are your docs that you can create. Google Docs, Sheets are like Excel, Slides is like PowerPoint, the Forms is the little quiz we took, Drawings, there's a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, you can add all of these things. So that is Google Drive. And if you wanted to, color code stuff, if you right-click on each of the folders, you can change the color to make it a different color. And maybe I want to search something, I don't know, maybe I want to search something that Loretta made. So what's really cool about Google Drive up at the top here, Google's search capabilities are built into Google Drive. So you can search things by title, maybe it has something in it, like I know Loretta's name was in my presentation, so it brought that up. This is my homeschool planning doc, and her name is on that, so it brought that up. She's got a folder. So you can search for things really easy within Google. Okay, that's Google Drive, quick overview. Next, Oh, the other thing that I wanted to mention, sharing, right? You can share, just like you can share a doc, you can share a folder. So for this folder, I have this folder shareable, just like how we looked at in the Google Doc. I have it shared with anyone in the link can view this folder. So I'm going to grab this URL and I'm going to put this in the chat box. If you click on that link, what you should get is should pull up the Google Drive and with all of these things in it that you have access to. So for example, if you have your students' work here that you've saved, a great thing to do would be to share it with your ES. And then they can pull work samples right from here. Okay, back here. Whose calendar looks like this? I had a meltdown, well, this was a few years ago, but I had kept all of my calendars, all my appointments, everything on a paper planner. And I think it was milk that got spilled on it, but it sat there for a while and it just all got ruined. And I couldn't remember anything that was on my calendar. And so I was like, I've got to figure out a better way. I tried using a calendar on the wall, but the kids just color on it. And it just gets messy. So what do I use? Google Calendar. Oh, this is my Google Calendar for next week. I like everything color-coded. Green is my work. Yellow is my husband. I've linked up with his calendar. Pink is homeschooling. Blue is personal. And, I got some other, like red is for my ES duties, like for the students that I serve. So Google Calendar is amazing. And there's lots of fun things that you can do with it. Here it is live. This is next week. You can set it up different ways. Like I said, you can color code things to different colors. You can create new calendars. Let's see. The way that you can, like for example, I have set up a calendar for our homeschooling. So you can create a new calendar here. Let's call this maybe assignments. So say you want to create a calendar for your kids that have all of their assignments for the day as a way to help them to stay on top of things. So maybe I want to make this, oops, I want to make this, no, purple. And I'm going to create an event, but I want it to be in my assignments. And I might say English, pages 22 to 30. And then the kids can log into the calendar and see what they have to do. You can organize this, you can set up a calendar for each kid. Maybe each kid is a different color. You can just have, like I just have pink is just all of our homeschool stuff, and then I put what kid it is. So there's lots of ways that you can use Google Calendars. I haven't done the assignments thing, but I thought that would be a really cool application for it. Let's see some questions here. You have 5 different Google accounts. I can sync them into one. Yeah, you can sync all of your calendars into one. For example, let me just show you my work calendar. I have all of my things in here. So I have this is my work calendar. I have the calendar that we were just in, Andersonia Academy. I have that assignments calendar that I just created. In fact, let's see. Or maybe this is a different one. Yes, Judy. So yeah, so the way that you would do that is, let me go back to this account. And if I go into settings, so for another great thing is like I'm synced to my husband's calendar and he's synced to mine. So what you can do is, this is the calendar that we're working in. What I can do is share it with specific people. So you can see here, this is me, this is the Google account that I'm in. I've shared it with my work calendar, and you can give different sharing levels, like see only free or busy, hide the event details, they can make changes, or manage sharing. So for example, if I want to add my daughter to this, and then I can give her different permissions, like seeing the event details. Now she's shared with that. But what that looks like, let me share it with my personal so you can see. Share it there. Then what happens is that person that you shared it with should be getting a, let's see, a link that will say, let's see, they will get an email like this that says, this person has shared the calendar with you. And it automatically syncs up into your calendar. So let's just see if that happens. Here's my calendar. Syncing up. Here it is right here. It's in orange. So let's see if that was, I don't see that one that we created on there, but it is shared. That's the calendar. Okay, so that's how you do that, syncing different calendars. All right, so those are some tips and tricks. Another thing you can do is you can get your agenda emailed to you every day. If you go in your calendar settings here, let's see, general settings, and scroll down. You can set it up different ways. You can have different notifications. There should be an option, or there used to be an option where you can have your agenda emailed to you every day. Maybe they took it away. Anyway, you can look in settings and play around with all of the stuff that's in here. Next, after calendar, grading. The bane of my existence. Google has a solution for grading, and it's super cool. They have Google Forms. You can make the Google Forms like we filled out, you can make them into quizzes. Check this out. I'm using this webpage because it has cooler videos than I can show you. So check this out. They are making a world geography quiz in Google Forms. It's giving the suggested answers and the suggested other quiz options. So you can create these quizzes for your kids and have them take it. And then Google grades them for them. Here's another option that you could look at. You know, if you want like RSVPing something, kids, you can use these forms like this. But you can also create, so these quizzes, you can make them all different types of choices and just enter in the information that you want the kids to learn or use. Like it's, and I'll show you how to do this in a minute. I just thought this was super cool. And then you can give the answers and then it will grade it for you. Once it knows the specific answers, then you can give it a certain point value. It's really cool. So back to our presentation here. I'm going to put this quiz in the chat box. And then you guys can take this little quiz and I will show you how it works. Cute quiz. Okay. So click on that link in the chat box and I will take the quiz too. Here it is. I set up this quiz in Google. What is my favorite color? Name. And now I've embedded a video. Watch the video and answer the following questions. Okay. How cute is this? All right, that's pretty cute. And I'm going to submit my quiz. So now it's saying I can view my score. Did I get the answer correct? Red, no. Oh, I got this wrong. The correct answer was my heart is about to explode. Feedback, you must need more cuteness in your life. Please watch this video to learn more. So this is some fun things that you can do with this, right? There's so many videos on YouTube that you can link up into your Google form and make a quiz for your kids. That way they can, I don't know, my kids tend to go on lots of rabbit trails in YouTube. So it's kind of like containing a video and they can't go watch other videos. So Google Forms is really, really cool. Let me see. I'll show you in what it looks like to create. Here is a quiz that I can create here. I can add some questions. To make it a quiz, though, what you do, you would go to create a new Google form. That's what this is called. It's a Google form. Again, if you go to the gear shift is usually settings. You can collect email addresses. You can limit it to just one response. You can show a progress bar, shuffle the questions. You want to make this a quiz. And you can release the grade, or you can manually review it. And then you can choose whether they want to see those things. And then you just add in your questions, or maybe you want to add in a video. So these things, as I hover over them, add a video, cute puppies, see what comes up. I'm going to put this one in. And then I can say, watch this video and answer questions. And then I can add questions below it. See, it automatically gave me some suggestions. So You can just add them there. You can also make it like check boxes, so they can check more than one answer. You can do all sorts of, you can make it a short answer. Like you could say, what did you like most about this video? Stuff like that. You can make questions required or not. And then when you do your answer key, you can add feedback saying, you know, watch it again or check here for more. And you can give points. So this is super fun to play around with. You can also change the theme to, they have a bunch of fun themes that you can add. And then it changes, you know, the colors. And so super fun to play around with, Google Forms. And it grades it for you. And then the cool thing too, let's go back. Let me see, I think this is in my other account that I created it, but I want to show you how, let's see, here it is. Here's the form. Oh, actually, let me show you here. This one. Yeah, so here is that quiz that we took, the cuteness quiz, right? And I can look and see what the responses are. I can see it to each question. I can see individual responses. I can see it also makes these cool graphs. So most of us like the color, oh, that's weird. Red is blue and blue is red. Those people's names, the answers to the questions. You can also create it into a spreadsheet like I showed at the very beginning. We can create a new spreadsheet that shows the answers in a spreadsheet form, which I like too. So we can see all the people that took the quiz and what their answers were. And you can also see when they took it. So it's date and time stamped. So that is a cool, Google Forms are a very cool little Google app to use. Now the next one, got about 10 more minutes, report cards. I have my report cards set up in Google Sheets, which is like an Excel sheet. And this is kind of what it looks like. Again, I'll make, let me see if I can grab this and put it in the chat box. So you can log into it and, oh, I don't think that works here. You can use this and make it your own for your own kids. Info station. If you click on that link, it will bring you to this Google Sheet that I've created. And hopefully I have it shared so that, yeah, you can view. If you want to make a copy of this, if you want to copy this and make it your own and put in your own information, all you need to do is go to File, Make a Copy. And what that does is it creates a new copy of it. You can rename it whatever you want, and it saves it onto your Google Drive as your own. So really quick, you see at the bottom here, I have a bunch of tabs. And I have it color coded. So I have something for, you know, important info here. I have something for a budget. I have it set up so the formulas will automatically calculate if I spend it on like school supplies. You see how it's automatically calculating down. So if you want to keep track of your budget, I have links to like Google folders. You know, you can link up your students' folder with all their work in it. I have a tab for like attendance if you want to keep track of attendance, although with Self-Stutter, your ES does that, but maybe, I don't know, maybe you wanted to keep track this way too. I have a list for tasks, action items for me to do, for the students to do, and when they're done, they can check it off. Login information to any online programs. And this is my, my grade book. So if you have high schoolers, it's important to keep track of their grades. And what you can do here is you can put like the lessons or whatever that they do, or pages, or, and then maybe they are taking tests, quizzes. It's automatically going to calculate the grade right here. As I enter in things, the grade changes. And it's weighted differently here. So here you can see daily work is worth 50%, grades 20, or quizzes 20%, tests 30%. You can change that. Let's make this 30. So you can put in what they're using, what curriculum they're using. You can check off if they're using tutoring. And then with each class, you can enter in the information here. And then it will calculate on the front page what the grade is. I have a PE log in here, so you can keep track of your kids' PE activities. I have their course list that all syncs together. I have a book list if they want to keep track of the books they read. Maybe you want to keep track of your extracurricular activities you do for the year, field trips. What else do I have in here? Well, this is just a blank page if you want to use this for, you know, another course. And how you can do that is, say you want to add a couple more courses for the first semester. If you right-click on the tab, you can duplicate a tab. And it'll just take that tab, and now you have two of these. Do you see that? So, and then you can rename it, you know, chemistry. And this one you can rename whatever. Or you can delete it. You can change the color. It's a lot like Excel, but I mean, Excel is a little bit more, lots more, I don't know, tools. But again, you have the same kind of things, the version histories. Lots of formulas, same as Excel. You can add a new sheet in here and just create your own tab, like if there's something else you want to keep track of. So feel free to make a copy of this and use it however you want. Or if you have some great ideas, email me or share with me, and I can maybe make something up and put it in here if you have any ideas. But this is a great, especially for high schoolers, this is a great place to keep track of all of the things that they are doing. Maybe they're applying for colleges, so maybe you want to have a tab that has all the colleges they've applied to. Maybe you want to have a tab that has their SAT scores. And Oh, there's lots of things that you can add in here. So just play around with it. And again, if you make a mistake and you don't like what you did, you can always revert back to an old version. Let's see, I'm planning to make a Google account for each child. How do I organize all their accounts so that it shows in one page like yours does? That is a great question. So, like on one page like this, like in here, like on a Google sheet like this, you can, if you wanted to have all of your kids in this one page, you could just add, you know, you could name each tab after each kid. You can have a bazillion tabs here. One thing that, one thing I do with Google Sheets also is my husband and I have our budget on Google Sheets. We just add a tab for every month and we share it with each other and we enter in information. So that's kind of like another practical tool to use Google Sheets with. Yeah, so play around with it, create stuff. You can't break it. You've made a copy of it. This original one is preserved, so if you want to come back and make another copy of it and start over again, you can do that. So yeah, and check back on it too. I might add some more stuff. Let me show you. In fact, I'll show you what I did with my daughters. So let me see. I have my daughters set up for the year. She's taking classes with Silicon Valley. Okay, so I have all of her information here. I have her student planner from guidance here. I have our budget of what we've used. I have our Google folder all linked up. Meeting dates, notes, her login information. And so then what I have done is gone through the syllabus and I already put in the assignments and when they're due or when she has to do them. And so she knows that, but also I made a pacing guide. Let me, you know what, I'm going to share this pacing guide into that doc I just gave you. I think it's called Information Station. Yeah, let's see. Now if this works. So what I did was when I right-clicked, you can copy a tab into an existing spreadsheet or you can even make a new spreadsheet. So let's go back and see if it worked, if that was the right doc. Nope. Let me see. I'm going to put this so I know that that's the right doc. Let me go back here. Sorry for this. Copy to existing spreadsheet. So I called it one. Let's see if now it pops up. There it is. Okay, so now I've copied this to my sheet. It should be, it's still not there. Let me refresh it. Maybe I have the wrong, I must have the wrong one shared. Anyway, at any rate, I'll link it up later. But let me go back to that to show you what I've done with that. I have her pacing guide. I have the dates of school. I have each of her classes. I have what's due that week in each class. And then when she's done with that class, excuse me, she can check off the box. This is all ready to go. Hopefully she'll use it. Oh, it's almost 3 o'clock. I want to be respectful of your time, so let me just get back here really quick. Some other cool things that you can do. You can make a YouTube playlist for your kids that they can watch. So I've created a bunch of playlists, and you can actually find these playlists. Like mine, this one is for science. And these are all videos that my kids can watch that I've kind of come across and added into a playlist for them. So that's really easy to do. You just, when you find a video, there's a little button at the bottom that says, I think it says like add to playlist. Yeah, save playlist. And then it'll add it into your YouTube account. So that's another fun thing to do. Also, you can create a digital portfolio for your kids. Google Sites is another tool that you can use. Here's a little portfolio I made for Loretta. And I have it, going to have it organized by grade. So here's her little work that she did for preschool. So your kids can curate their best work and put them on a Google site. To get to sites, you just go to sites.google.com once you're logged into your Google account, and you can create a bunch of sites, and it's really easy. You just click and drag stuff. It's very intuitive, very easy. You would even, if you're the least techie person, you would be able to, you can put up in videos, text, just click and you can click and add a text box. This is a Tahoe. It's really easy for kids to use too. Yeah, so play around with Google Sites. Have your kids play around with it. And let's see. That is it for our presentation. So let me put this in the chat box. If you have a minute, I would love to know, let's see, let me see what this one is. Nope, wrong one. I'd love to get some feedback. Oh, I don't have the link in here. Let me see if it's in here. I would love to have your feedback on, no, I can't find it. Figures. Here it is. Here it is. How did I do it? If you wouldn't mind taking a minute to click on the link in the chat box and fill out my little rate me survey, I would love it. Again, this was recorded, so we will be able to share this. I'll share it with you if you want to go back and watch it. And I am going to also have a lot more trainings if you thought this was helpful. And yes, I'll share the recording in Facebook, and I'll probably also send you an email with it when it's all uploaded. Okay? Thank you, everybody. It was really fun. I love being able to share this stuff.